The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Today on Aging Horizons, we're going to be speaking with Janelle Huff from Montana Bank of the Rockies, and she's going to be telling us all about some really important events that are happening across Montana that are about fraud prevention, what you can do to spot the newest trends, how you can protect yourself, and all of the important organizations that are working to keep Montanans and Americans safe from fraud. So make sure you stay tuned to today's Aging Horizons.
Someone who said they were from Medicare called and asked for my personal information.
I noticed a charge on my Medicare statement for a test I don't remember having.
I got a letter offering me free medical equipment if I gave them my Medicare number.
Something didn't seem right.
It seemed too good to be true.
If something seems odd, it's probably fraud. Call Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-551-3191 to report fraud. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
When the weather's good, I gotta get away for some fishing, and that's a must.
Fred Dahlbeck. Clancy.
My grandson tells me we suck at golf. Fun though. And there's never enough time to keep the old 57 Chevy happy.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Come on, girl.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Katie Lovell. Today we have an amazing guest, one of my dear friends. Her name is Janelle Huff. She is the Community Outreach Coordinator for Montana Bank of the Rockies, and she's going to be giving us some really important information about some summits that are happening across Montana. Janelle, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I'm thrilled to be here.
Any excuse to get to hang out with you for a few minutes, I'm happy to do.
Absolutely, yes.
So Janelle, in addition to all the amazing work that you do for the Montana Bank of the Rockies, you are also the president of the Montana Financial Education Coalition, correct?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about the coalition.
So the Montana Financial Education Coalition, and we can call that the MFEC.
Great.
Much easier. We are the Montana affiliate of the National Jumpstart Coalition.
Okay.
It's a coalition of like-minded individuals. Their focus is financial education. I believe Montana is one of only 5, maybe 6 coalitions that takes a cradle-to-grave approach.
Wow.
National Jumpstart has a very focused, they're very focused for K-12, which is very important.
Sure.
My own personal philosophy is that financial education is not terminal, so we need to keep that education going,
yeah,
especially as we age.
Sure. Absolutely. And the coalition, one of their projects for this year are these fraud prevention summits. So tell me a little bit about them.
So the Fraud Prevention Summit came about as an idea with the Elder Fraud Prevention Subcommittee.
Sure.
We were trying to decide what kind of a deliverable we should have, and this started as an idea in November of last year, and we started planning for it, and here we are, and we have 2 summit locations in September, in Missoula, September 23rd and 24th, and then in Billings, September 25th and 26th.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're going to be on the move.
Very much so. Yes.
So these are going to be 2-day events in each location.
Correct. They're kind of half-day events in each location to accommodate some of our out-of-state travelers.
Sure.
Who are going to speak at both venues. Some of them are first-time Montana visitors, so they don't understand that it's a 5.5-hour drive. And for us, that's no big deal.
Yeah, for Montanans, that's just around the block. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about some of the topics that the summits are going to cover.
So the topics are broad, and they cover a holistic approach to fraud prevention. Sure. So we have everything from, cryptocurrency fraud, which is very much a hot topic right now, to AI, to mental health even, and to compliance and fraud in the compliance and legal space,
sure,
including even estate planning.
Some really important tools.
Very important tools, yes.
In a summit like this, a lot of this information can feel really, really scary. Yes. But I assume the point of the summit is not to scare us. What's the goal of the summit?
The goal of the summit is to, number one, bring together like-minded people.
Sure.
It's very much, my perspective is that we tend to put these issues into silos. And as I've been doing this for a while now, I've realized that people don't fit in silos. And so it's really important to approach our consumers, our friends, our loved ones as a person, as a whole, not, oh, here you go. For me, for example, somebody might call and say, oh, I think I just got scammed.
Sure.
And so I do what I need to do at the bank, get them taken care of, hopefully get their money back, and then my life goes on, and there's never stays the same.
Sure.
And I had a very distinct recollection of that, and it made me think, yeah, this is something we need to be doing differently. And so it's to bring together people from every walk of elder justice and people who will take that message back to their communities.
Sure, absolutely. When you're looking at participants, do you want professionals to attend the conference? Do you want older adults to attend the conference? Do you want family members to attend the conference? Who's the audience?
All of the above. Yes, absolutely. I think professionals would be I think this is a great summit, a lot of education for professionals.
Sure.
There are a lot of different perspectives that we as professionals might not get in our professional space unless we hear it from somebody else. We have victims advocates coming. We have compliance professionals coming. We have personal stories of. We have actually 3 individuals who are going to tell personal stories of what their experiences were, and so those stories I think are very important. And I think that if we have professionals there and we have friends and family there, those people will take that message and take it back, and that will spread the message even further.
Absolutely. So there are 2 communities that we're going to be doing this again. Remind me.
Missoula
and Billings.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you choose those communities?
That's an interesting question. I have to give a lot of credit to actually Tim Summers from AARP.
So yep.
He brought the idea of let's do this on 2 different communities so that we hit a broader
scope. A little bit more west, a little bit more east.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right, when we get back, I want to talk about a few of the sessions and a few of your favorite speakers that are going to be attending.
Absolutely.
So make sure you stay tuned to Aging Horizons. We're going to be giving you a little bit of a peek inside the agenda for those summits and a little bit about what to expect for both of those days. So make sure you stay tuned to Aging Horizons.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992, and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef, and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
A message from FireSafe Montana. With the large number of homes being built in the wildland-urban interface, it is the responsibility of the homeowner to use ignition-resistant materials. Many buildings in a wildfire are burned from the roof down. Consider using a metal or asphalt roofing material. The siding of a home is subject to extremely high heat during a fire. Look into the use of stone, stucco, or cement board. Contact FireSafe Montana for more information. This message brought to you by FireSafe Montana and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. We are talking all about the really cool fraud prevention summits that are happening in Missoula and Billings this September, and we're talking with Janelle Huff from Montana Bank of the Rockies. Janelle, I have looked through the agendas. They all look so amazing, but I'd love to go through and get some highlights from you about some of your presentations that you're really looking forward to. So let's start with the keynotes. Tell me a little bit about those.
The keynote, again, I have to give props to AARP. So Doug Shadle is our keynote address, and he has created a presentation, I guess is the best way, but he is drawn from his experiences in the field, and he gives like a bird's eye view of how people choose to victimize others and how, victims become, or survivors. I'd like to use that word more often, I think. Sure. He just really has a really interesting concept, and he's got firsthand experience where he's learning how to teach, well, actually he's teaching us how to learn how to spot these.
Sure.
Instances. So that's really cool. And again, thank you to AARP Montana for securing him.
Yeah, absolutely. One of these ones that I'm really excited to see on the agenda is these discussions about words matter. Some of the sort of how we can, as professionals, use trauma-informed language. So tell me a little bit about that.
So this is a concept that I found myself thinking about a lot recently, just in how we as professionals talk to people who call us and say, I can't believe I'm so stupid, I fell for this. These are words that aren't good to use. Mm-hmm. The other thing that happened was I was invited to participate as an attendee this time, and I was on a webinar hosted by the American Bankers Association. And I can't say enough good about them. They do a lot of outreach in this space as well. And they had a session specifically to this. And as we think about the mental health issues that come up as people are victimized, whether it's mental, emotional, physical abuse, it really resonated with me as people were talking about suicidal ideation after being victimized, after they were talking about how their families maybe would shun them or tell them that they were so stupid. And I thought that's not right. And if we're here to help them, we need to change our language as well. Absolutely. So that became kind of a personal mission of mine, is to let's change our language and let's teach others how to change our language.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely everyone falls for one of these scams at some point in their life, and hopefully you lose little or no money, but we all do. And so making sure that we're speaking kindly is so important. I'm so excited to see that. One of the things that I am fascinated about, one of the sessions I can't wait to see is the AI discussion. So tell me a little bit about that discussion.
So in Missoula in particular, we have Dr. David Firth, and he's a professor at the University of Montana College of Business. I was fortunate to be able to take a couple of his classes. And he has a fascinating research project going on regarding AI and how it's the next wave. We can't escape it. And he and I were in a discussion, and I said, would you mind speaking at this? And he said, well, what do you want me to talk about? I said, I think it's really important that we understand that, yes, AI can definitely be used to perpetrate fraud. But can you speak to how it can be used to combat fraud as well? And he said, well, how much time do I have? So I'm really excited about that. And I think it's really important that we understand the tools that are being used.
Sure.
Both ways.
Yeah. Because you can't stop at that fear, right?
No.
You have to you get to be afraid, but then you have to keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely you do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, tell me a little bit more about, let's see, what more of these are, the end of life planning one. So good.
Yes.
You know, a topic near and dear to my heart. So tell me a little bit about that.
So this came about because I've been working with the Alzheimer's Association, but I've also been very fortunate to be in Marcia Gettings' circle.
Oh, yes.
We're all Marcia fans.
We are all Marcia fans.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. And as I was watching my own parents navigate caretaking their parents for their end of life, and as I've been, witnessing things happen at work, just with older adults who maybe choose to plan and maybe choose not to plan.
Sure.
It really became important to me to emphasize this.
Yeah.
It's something that we can all do for ourselves and for our children and our grandchildren, especially as cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia, as that begins to creep into our lives. It's really important to make those discussions happen before something like that happens. Sure. Kind of a funny story. Another reason that I brought this into the discussion with the group was my mother called me one day and she said, I just want you to know everything's fine, but your dad and I were just at the funeral home. And I said, excuse me? But they had made the determination that they weren't going to do something cruel to my siblings and I, in that we weren't going to know what their wishes were.
Sure.
So that was an interesting way to start the conversation, I do have to say.
Absolutely. Janelle, when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about how people register for the conference and where they can get more information. So make sure you stay tuned, because you are not going to want to miss these conferences and you're going to want to register. So stay tuned to Aging Horizons.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
This is Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. Today we are talking all about the fraud prevention summits that are happening in Billings and in Missoula in September, and we are here with Janelle Huff. Janelle, thank you so much. One of the things that I was just mentioning to you is I love how you have framed this conference as here's the big scary thing that causes fraud, and then here's what to do about it, which I think is so wonderful. And one of the groups that you've brought in to do some of that, here's what we do about it, is Adult Protective Services. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. You can't talk about fraud and elder abuse without talking about APS, right? We're very fortunate to have APS as part of our MFEC board and part of our Elder Fraud Prevention Committee. And so it's been very heartwarming to have that networking connection. Sure. When I was visiting with some of my peers in the banking industry, what kept coming up was we just don't understand, why don't we know anything when we do make a referral?
Sure.
And I thought, well, that's a great topic for a conference. And I reached out to Trevor and I asked him, what do you think? Can we do something like this? Can you talk about, let's do a life cycle of an APS referral 101. Yeah. This is how it starts. This is the process. This is why you may not hear anything back. This is when you would hear anything back. And he said, yeah, I'll do it.
Wonderful. One of the next ones on here is the crypto scams, which, I feel like is on the rise and still something I only barely understand. Tell me a little bit about those ones.
You and I are in that same boat. Crypto actually scares me. Yeah. I'm not well versed in it. However, Montana CSI is.
Great.
They do a lot of outreach in that space, and I think it's an important topic, especially as mobile banking and AI, and everybody has a computer in their pocket walking around with them now. And I was fortunate to have attended some of their crypto sessions in the past at the Montana Governor's Conference on Aging. And it's just a topic that I think is so important. So I did reach out to their office and they were more than happy to send speakers to both locations.
That is wonderful. One of the sessions that I really love and that I've seen before is where some of the survivors get to talk about what happened to them. So tell me a little bit about who you have coming to do those talks.
So I'm thrilled to say that we have Susan Bivens. Love her. She and I have gotten to know each other a little bit over the past few years. As you are well aware, she was one of our keynotes at an World Elder Abuse Awareness Day event. The woman's phenomenal.
She is.
She has made it part of her mission and part of her healing process to talk about what happened to her.
Yeah.
And last year at a WIAD event, she and I were talking, and she was very forthcoming about depression, some PTSD, some mental health issues that she felt she was dealing with after being a survivor of a very sophisticated scam.
Yeah.
Number one, the fact that she even said it was huge. And again, that kind of brought me into, okay, how do we change our language? And so I thought, well, we've all heard her story. Those of us in this space have heard her story, and she's been more than willing to talk about everything that has happened to her. So she will actually be talking about what I'm calling her aftermath.
Yeah.
She'll be talking about probably a brief overview of her story, but also what happened after the fact.
Yeah.
How am I healing and how can I help others?
Sure. I think a lot of us as professionals, our goal, right, is to stop the bleeding. It's to immediately cut off the exploiter to restore some financial stability, and we sort of forget that that's not where it ends for the survivor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Janelle, when folks want to register for these conferences, because I know now everybody who's watching this program wants to register, how do they do it?
So you can visit our website at mtmfec.org. You will go to the events tab. I believe it's the events tab. I could be wrong. I'm going off of memory here. But we do have an Eventbrite registration link for both places.
Okay.
Registration is, I feel we've made it very affordable.
Sure.
Early registration is $30.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we also have a table registration where an organization can register $250 and they can send 10 people.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's a really great way for professionals to get into this space and get this information.
Right. They can also find our links on our Facebook and our LinkedIn, as well as our Instagram.
Sure. When we're talking about professionals, I know a lot of the times we aim that conversation at bankers, at folks that are going to interact with an older adult as they're dealing with their money, financial advisors, maybe even attorneys. But there are so many more people that need to be involved in this conversation. Who are some of the other groups that might consider attending something like this?
So obviously bankers, but I think anybody that is in the elder justice space, lawyers, anybody who is a SHIP counselor maybe might want to attend, anybody from Adult Protective Services or DPHHS. I think if you have an interest in it, if you work in a nursing home or if you work in an assisted living, I think anybody in that space should consider it. But I also think if you just have an interest in it, you should consider it as well.
Absolutely. I think store clerks too. They see so much of this. They're frontline people all of the time, and what a great place to get some training that you wouldn't normally have access to.
And I think too, as you mentioned that, I think maybe restaurants.
Sure.
Restaurants for sure. Retail staff. Anybody that sells a gift card might want to consider.
People in the faith community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will say too, in Missoula, for University of Montana students, if they want to register and they go to our Eventbrite tab, they can enter UM student, all capitals, and their registration will be no cost.
Wonderful. Janelle, thank you so much for putting on this summit, for all of the amazing work that you do across Montana, and for being here today with us. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you to the MFEC and Bank of the Rockies for allowing me to do this.
Absolutely. And thank you for staying tuned to Aging Horizons.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.